Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to the WWE Save, and today we have WWE's King of the Ring 2013, the Raw exclusive pay-per-view for this year, and I am super excited to get into this. As always, let's just jump right in, shall we? So in order to start off the show, we have a pay-per-view music video, The Mighty Fall by Fall Out Boy. I forget if this was the Hell in the Cell or one of the other pay-per-view themes. I always try to sync the pay-per-view themes up with what they were in real life. But we have some awesome matches. We have the King of the Ring matches, Big Show, Morrison, Daniel Bryan, Bray Wyatt, and the semifinals. We have The Miz taking on Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship, and Triple H and Stephanie probably not too far behind. They are not allowed to interfere in this match. We should remember that. Not allowed to interfere in this match. But you can tell that probably they're probably not going to let Kofi Kingston take the belt off of Miz after everything Triple H has built up so far with the Dynasty. So let's jump right ahead. The first match, of course, is one of the others. It's a tag team match between the Motor City Machines, the Kings of Wrestling, and InZayn for the WWE Tag Team titles. Let's see how the match does. And in a 98A and about to had sensational wrestling, decent reaction from the crowd. That was weird. Motor City Machines defeated the Kings of Wrestling and InZayn in triple threat when they hit Cesaro with the Cradle Shock to retain defense number 2 of their WWE World Tag Team titles. So 98, awesome way to start the show. Absolutely awesome way to start the show, I have to say myself. Really cool and everything. So, great effort from both teams. I'm trying to see any standouts. And Chris Hero did a 99. That's just nuts. Chris Hero, there are good things looking for Cesaro and Chris Hero, as well as, the tag team division has really been built up really good, in my opinion. There's not too many teams, but you could tell I'm going for a SmackDown 6 kind of thing, where it's there's just tag teams that can have awesome matches, and you can rely on them, and it's you don't have too many matches in a row, but you have enough to just, satiate that kind of quota for good matches. And next that we have the semifinals. We have the Dynasty's Big Show taking on John Morrison, and John Morrison picks up the win in 17 minutes by pinfall with a moonlight drive. During the match, Triple H was out there, the Dynasty, trying to make sure, that someone from the Dynasty, their basic representative, all in fairness, they haven't had many representatives in the King of the Ring tournament besides Kane, but Triple H accidentally hits Big Show, and John Morrison able to get the win over the Big Show, and, it's kind of a sad moment for him, but John Morrison moves on to the King of the Ring finals, and always good for him to see that. And next up we have Kofi Kingston, the former WWE champion, talking about everything that has happened to him over these past couple weeks. He talks about how the Miz, he thought the Miz was a better person. He gave the Miz credit, and he shouldn't have done that. He's said that a lot, but it's true. And that the Miz screwed Kofi Kingston's world title run. It ended on absolute BS. I did not think in real life it would end on BS. I'm not gonna lie. That just kind of happened. The in between recordings is so different now. AEW has just started Dynamite. Well, not just started it, but they've had their shows for a bit, just for reference recordings. I've just been really busy with school, but I had the time to record this pay-per-view today. But anyway, Kofi Kingston talks, and he says Miz is a piece of shit, and that by the end of the night, the dream will continue on for Kofi Kingston, and he will be WWE champion once more. Some good shit. Next up, though, we have Daniel Bryan, Bray Wyatt, King of the Ring semifinals match. Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt. Daniel Bryan got the head up last time. Can he do it again? Can he put away Bray Wyatt, or will Bray Wyatt come up with the win? Will Bray Wyatt use the family advantage, or will Daniel Bryan be able to prove that wrestling overall is better? And in a 95A, Bray Wyatt defeats Daniel Bryan in 21-28 with a Sister Abigail following interference from most of the other family. And this picks up the family versus movement storyline as well. Forgot to mention that. But Daniel Bryan is knocked out of the tournament due to some BS. It took 2 other guys for Bray Wyatt to beat Daniel Bryan. The whole point of basically trying to be made here is that Daniel Bryan is a wrestler, and he is very good at that. So it's a very interesting flow between Daniel Bryan's work ethic, that technical style, that submission wrestling. He hits hard when he needs to, versus Bray Wyatt's kind of run and gun, as well as spooky magical bullshit that he kind of needs. Like, he doesn't. It's not that he does it just because that's a character thing. That is obviously a key part of his character in this kind of old school Bray Wyatt. But at the same time, he needs that to beat Daniel Bryan. Without that, it really wouldn't work. But regardless, Bray Wyatt will meet John Morrison in the finals of King of the Ring. But up next, we have an even bigger match. It's going to be Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton inside. I believe it was a steel cage. I can't remember if it was a steel cage or a street fight. I honestly can't remember. Again, booking has just been so bad. We'll see what it is. But 2 guys who've just beaten the shit out of each other want to get their hands on each other, and they will in this next match. And in a 90 match, it was a street fight. That's what it was. I forget. I think it was supposed to originally be a street fight or a cage match. But Randy Orton, in their first ever counter, does manage to beat Brock Lesnar with the RKO. He gets the win, 1, 2, 3. I want to see what the dirt sheet says about this. Is there anything holding back? Short match length. It was 18 minutes. I don't know how much more they want. How much more do you need, brother? But whatever. A 90A is still a 90A, and that's awesome. The thing with Brock is, and this is just a preference I have in real life, is you take Brock, right? Like, I know that Paul Heyman does a masterful job of building up the UFC shit, but the problem with that is, like, you have the ability to just watch that UFC shit, and when you see, and ironically they brought him back out, and it's the same problem. Like, Cain Velasquez just, it was a hard fought match, but he just beat the crap out of Brock. So it's like, okay, like, now that I know the reality of the situation, Brock doesn't feel like a giant monster. He just feels like some dude. And so the more they treat him as this, like, God amongst men Chad, it just kind of pisses me off. So I feel that I'm just also not a big fan of Brock. Old school Brock's awesome, but everything in the Ruthless Aggression era is awesome. And I'm not one of those, like, I grew up in the Ruthless Aggression era, but I do like this modern era of wrestling. I just wish WWE could if they could just book some things better. They just had the talent. They have the talent. They just need to book it a little better. That's just my honest opinion. That's a shoot, brother. But yeah, I'm just not a fan of Brock's whole, like, I'm not necessarily his wrestling, like the Suplex City, just more in such the kind of just, yeah, okay, Brock's here, he beats the shit out of a guy for 8 minutes and taps him out, and you're supposed to act like that's awesome, like it's just a bunch of fucking stupid shit. I would much rather watch a 20-minute fight between Randy Orton and Brock than a 15-minute beat the shit out of Randy Orton Brock match. But regardless, that's my thoughts on it. But yeah, no, Brock takes the win. Randy Orton gets the RKO win in a probably a shock victory, despite my feelings for Brock still, regardless. And we have basically a segment in where, Big Show obviously is mad. He's mad about losing a King of the Ring spot. And Triple H goes, you know what, Big Show? Like, he comes out, he goes, I know you fucked up. He doesn't take blame, obviously, for it. But he just says, I understand. Look, I totally understand. Everything, regardless, we don't need King of the Ring, to be honest. The Dynasty doesn't need King of the Ring. It's a funny-sounding title, and you get a title shot out of it. But we don't need it, per se. It's just, that's what we did. We have the WWE Championship. He points to Miz. And he goes, as long as the Miz retains that WWE title, which I know he will do, he doesn't need us. We need to build the strength of this brand. And while you losing was a damage to that brand, a win here tonight will solidify that. We will solidify the Dynasty brand, and moreover solidify the WWE brand as a whole. So basically just kind of building that up, that, the Dynasty wants a strong WWE brand, and they're going to use that via the Miz and kind of that business tie, kind of like feeling doing that. You can also just talk about, because King of the Ring has come and gone in real life, another shoot thing was, I know everyone likes to shit on Baron Corbin, and I don't mind Baron Corbin. I just feel like if you, I know people like compare it to MJF, like, well, you like MJF, but you don't like Baron Corbin. I kind of prefer MJF just because MJF does the same shtick, but at least he kind of like changes it up, like based on the surroundings. Like he's doing. I like when wrestlers call out specific things. They make references to pop culture, not as a cringy thing to do, but just kind of integrate it as wrestling. It makes them feel more like real people. Like MJF feels like a real dick, as opposed to Baron Corbin, who just kind of looks like a guy pretending to be a dick. Also, I absolutely hated the booking of King of the Ring instead of... Like, I feel like Corbin, and that was the fault too, is he shouldn't have just won. The winner should have gotten a title shot, which is why it shouldn't have been Corbin. Because, like, what do you get out of King of the Ring? You either get a title shot, that happened back in the day, and you get, a good push, or you get a dude with a king gimmick, which just in the modern day I just think doesn't work. Unless you played for comedy, like King Booker, which King Booker was awesome, but Corbin's just, I don't know, that's just another thing that I'm just shitting on WWE. They almost had Asuka lose to Natalya on Raw this week, and I've just been in a depression ever since. If it would have had, I don't think I'd be recording this. I would have ended the series. I'm just kidding. But, more importantly, let's move on to some more important things. And that's going to be this women's match. AJ Lee versus Madison Lane. 2 out of 3 falls for the Divas title. There can only be one winner. Let's see how it goes. And in a 93 match, awesome, AJ Lee defeats Madison Lane in that 2 out of 3 falls in 1841 by 2 falls to 1 after losing the first, with the final fall happening with a Shining Wizard. AJ Lee makes defense number 8 of her Divas title. AJ Lee might be, I have to calculate it, might be the longest reigning champion, just shy of beating out John Cena, because John Cena won it the pay-per-view after WrestleMania, whereas AJ Lee won it at WrestleMania. If you could count Sheamus's thing too as a thing, you can also count that as a kind of title. You can also argue that. But regardless, AJ Lee picks up the win, makes defense number 8, and all in all, she proves that she is the better woman to Madison Lane. We have the end of the one more match. I just want to check if this got capped for short length as well. Yeah, so this match would have been... There's some chemistry inconsistency holding back stuff. But this match would have been even better rated if I just made the match a little bit more longer, which, is kind of the secret to some TEW games. I hope that's kind of patched out. I feel like there should be, I feel like your main event should be longer. You should be penalized for short match length there. We should be really heavily penalized if it's 5 minutes. But, again, I am excited for the new game. The new game 2020 looks awesome. Just for the sake, I don't know if anyone's been watching or keeping up to track with that. And then we just have John Morrison and Bray Wyatt. We have some promos. They go back and forth talking about why they need to win, the King of the Ring. And honestly, when you look at the field, you gotta wonder who the Dynasty would want to get this title shot more. Because John Morrison obviously is, a pain in the ass to the Dynasty. He's a face, so naturally they're going to be... But then you look at Bray Wyatt, and I think Bray Wyatt kind of encapsulates everything, that the Dynasty doesn't want WWE to be. It's sports entertainment, but, Bray Wyatt's portrayed to be an actual demon with demonic powers. So that's probably not something they want. But regardless, these two are going to clash for the King of the Ring title. Bray Wyatt specifically makes it... He invented a new catchphrase. He yelled, "Yowie Wowie," 6 years before it became a thing. The crowd is indeed confused. But nonetheless, Bray Wyatt makes his entrance. John Morrison makes his entrance shortly thereafter. And these two, there can only be one King of the Ring. And who can it be? We'll have to just see. And in a 99A star match, superb match, John Morrison wins King of the Ring when he hits Bray Wyatt in 22:06 with a Starship Pain. During the match, the Big Show came out trying to attack John Morrison, so it looks like they didn't care, and they just went after the closest person, which was John Morrison. But Daniel Bryan, not forgetting what Bray Wyatt did to him, distracted Bray Wyatt, leading to that, all this chaos in the ring. There's some BS, but at the end of the day, it was a clean finish with the Starship Pain. Bray Wyatt losing in 22:06, and John Morrison is the new King of the Ring. And all the faces come out, and they celebrate him. We see Triple H looking on, kind of like, Jericho, Truth, Yujiro Takahashi, Steve Austin. That is the greatest collection of people on the same stage that I've ever heard of. Even CM Punk, like, he's kind of there. He's like, yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. They're still having, like, problems, Punk and Morrison. But all in all, the faces celebrate with, Morrison congratulating on becoming King of the Ring and earning a well-earned title shot. But now it's time for the main event. We have Kofi Kingston making his way to the ring for his WWE Championship match. Kofi Kingston, all things considered, everything that's happened has, he's seen his dream crushed in front of him. He was on a tear. He beat CM Punk. He beat Wade Barrett. He won the scramble match. He beat Brock Lesnar, which, hey, WWE, I'm hired for Buck. No, I'm just kidding. But all things considered, in this series, Kofi Kingston has a sporadic rest out. Even before the YouTube stuff, as I've said before, Kofi Kingston was, he was building that career. He was building that career as a guy who's been around and never had that shot. Again, it was really weird because it wasn't like Kofi Mania, but, like, looking back, even without the YouTube stuff, I wish I would have booked it like Kofi Mania, kind of bring that history. I just kind of had, like, the Rocket to Kofi. But regardless, The Miz came about, and what did he do? He allied with everyone's favorite snake, Triple H and Stephanie, and he just stole the title from him. There wasn't a fair fight. There wasn't any of that. It was just straight up, bullshit. And now we have the kind of end segment of that. We have Kofi Kingston. We have The Miz. There can only be one champion. This match, is very... Kofi is wrestling, and I kind of don't like when they do that, but you see this side of Kofi where it's like... He's not, like, ground pound brawling, but he is kind of doing that, but he's just more intense than anything. He's doing the aerial stuff, he's doing dives, but they have an intensity to them that realizes he really wants to beat the shit out of The Miz. The Miz is his usual Miz self. He's cocky, he's arrogant, but he's calculating too. A kind of new calculating, like kind of Triple H game-like stuff. So, Kofi is doing a lot of dives. He makes sure to calculate that, get out of the way, and then punish that with some leg work. Maybe brings out, as crappy as it looks, the figure four, punish the, take out the legs so Kofi can't jump on the turnbuckles. We see that kind of protege-like thing going to The Miz. But at one point, The Miz, he gets hit with a Trouble in Paradise. He does kick out, however. So, The Miz isn't nothing to mess with. But Kofi realizes, okay, alright, I see what you gotta do. And he goes to the side of the ring, and he's going... And The Miz does this, like, basically The Miz is, like, bitching, like, oh, no, like, his, like, face got hurt, like, maybe there's, like, you could see, like, a little blood packet or something, kind of, like, work that in, like, oh, you can't blade, but you can have, like, fake blood packets, so, like, obviously, you could tell The Miz is just fucking with the referee, and as the referee's checking out, somebody runs in and just gives Kofi the biggest cutter you've ever seen. And in a 99A star match, The Miz defeated Kofi Kingston with a crushing finale following an RKO from Randy Orton. What the hell did Randy Orton just do? Again, it's Randy Orton, so these things shouldn't really be expected. But he just showed up after fighting Brock Lesnar. It was like yeet and just RKO's Kofi Kingston. And The Miz defends the championship, and you got to remember, and the crowd probably is booing, hopefully not in like super bad heat, but I did want to kind of have a sports entertainment like finish where there was not to be interference from any member of the Dynasty. Randy Orton's not a member of the Dynasty, but Miz clearly knows something's going on as he's just smiling all his way back to the ring, and we have Kofi Kingston walking just in the ring, basically dead, while Randy Orton just kind of walks to the back. Triple H shaking hands with The Miz. He's like, yeah, you did it, buddy. You're still the WWE champ. What? And the big question obviously is why Randy Orton? Why do this? Why screw Kofi Kingston? And yeah, that's the show. And let's cut in to see how the show turned out. 98A. I was hoping maybe for 99. I was hoping maybe we could get WrestleMania magic, but a 98A is still awesome. And this has been a great event too. I love. I've taken a break from the series, which was kind of needed, but now that I have done it, it's just like it just feels so good to just come back to the series and just record this and have these awesome shows. All things considered, thank you guys for watching the event. I'm probably gonna, in terms, I don't like to do speeches because I need to get like the screen caps. I put it for the Facebook group because that's where the thing started. I like to be loyal, and for my own personal collection, I'll probably give a speech to Miz, Morrison, and probably AJ just for the sake of it. That or like one of the I can't remember, one of the tag teams. But that's about it. That wraps up King of the Ring 2013. I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful day.